Hello everybody. I recently came from India to Australia and I'm currently in Sydney. I've been asked to quarantine in this Hotel Novotel for next 14 days. And I have posted in few groups, Indians in Sydney, Indians in Melbourne, Indians in Perth, and quite a number of people were interested to know about my experience, what experience I have been through during this quarantine period, how I booked my tickets. I've answered to a few people, but I'm unable to answer each and everybody. So I thought of making this video and sharing it with you all. First, let me discuss how I booked my ticket. I booked my ticket through Air India and through Air India official website. How easy or how difficult booking a ticket was. I must say that it was pretty difficult to book a ticket, but that again I really had to try again and again and again over and over. And one interesting thing, even though if they show the tickets have been sold out, I would recommend everybody to keep on checking about the tickets every day again, because on the first day they told me that tickets have been sold out and no ticket was available. I checked on the second day, third day, and on the fourth day, I must say, all of a sudden I could see one ticket available from Delhi to Sydney, and that was for the date of 20th of June. I booked that ticket immediately, and that is how I got my ticket. So how I got to know about the tickets, I did register myself with one link provided by Australia High Commission. I'm going to provide that link in the description below the video. And also I followed Australia High Commission Delhi Instagram page. They were regularly posting about the flights. They were only posting about the flights which have the approval to fly in and out of India. So it's a pretty, I would say, reliable source of information. If anybody is planning when to travel, how to travel, they must follow the Australia High Commission Instagram page. So the reason why I booked my flight from Air India is because in this COVID situation, not every flight has an authority to fly in and out of India. DGCA approval is must for an airline to fly in and out of India in these situations. And Air India definitely has a DGCA approval because they have this Vande Bharat mission, and under this Vande Bharat mission, they have the special rights to fly in and out of India. Some other flights also do have DGCA approval, some special flights by Qantas Airlines and some other special chartered planes. But one must check whether the airline has a DGCA approval or not. What is happening as of now is the private websites like Make My Trip, Clear Trip, or many other websites, or the airline websites, private airlines websites like Malindo, Malaysian Airlines, they are taking the bookings as well. So once you book a ticket with them, they do book your ticket, they do accept your money, but you're not really sure whether they will be allowed to fly their airline, because they don't really have DGC approval. And while they are in process of getting the DGC approval, they are accepting the bookings. So people are actually in a way, I would say, getting harassed because they book tickets via these websites, and then their money gets logged in, and the other websites sometimes offer them a credit, or sometimes they do offer refund as well. In my particular case, I saw availability of one flight by Malindo airline, and before booking a ticket on Malindo website directly, I did call the Malindo officials, and the executive of Malindo executive was kind enough to let me know that they don't really have the DGCA approval and they cannot actually fly. They are waiting for the approval, and for that reason I did not book my tickets with Malindo. I booked my ticket with Air India. And now recently I got to know that India has extended its restrictions on the flight for the flights till 15th of July, I guess. But while you are booking a ticket from a private vendor, please make sure that the flight has a DGC approval. Do call the airline directly. Please, I would say, do not lock in your money by booking tickets just like that. Not all flights are allowed to fly in and out of India in these situations. So let me tell you more about my experience at IGI Airport, Delhi. Since my flight was from Delhi to Sydney and it was scheduled to depart from Delhi IGI Airport. So I went from my hometown Ludhiana to Delhi by cab. And once I entered IJT3 terminal, there was one counter over there, health counter something. One is supposed to, all the international travelers are supposed to get their health checkup done at that entrance of IGI T3 terminal. They simply check your temperature and they give you with one health certificate. It is very important to have your health certificate because later on while boarding the flight, the immigration officer checks your health certificate, whether you have it or not. So after I got my health certificate at the entrance of T3 airport, and I went for the regular process, which is you go to the airline counter for the baggage check-in. I went for the baggage check-in and I checked in my baggage, and then after that I went for the immigration, and at the immigration counter they obviously checked my boarding pass. They checked whether I have that health certificate which I have collected from the entrance of T3 counter, and they checked the health certificate and I was allowed to go ahead with that. And the I would say the airline baggage check-in and the immigration check-in, everything is as usual. The only difference is you need to have the health certificate at the immigration counter. And also when you board the flight, earlier they usually don't allow us to take water bottles along, but now you can take your water bottles. I have seen people carrying 2 water bottles before you board your flight, and that was the process. And before boarding flight, they did provide us with all the safety equipments, like they provide us with the face shield, they provided us with the face masks, and also they tried that they do not have to make somebody sit in the middle seat, but if somebody is actually sitting in the middle seat, they were providing gowns, special gowns to the person whoever is sitting in the middle seat. Another difference in the earlier process and the process which I noticed during this COVID times is the immigration does take a lot of time. They usually take about an hour, sometimes more than an hour as well. So I will highly recommend each and every person to reach the airport at least 3 to 4 hours before your boarding time. So once we enter the Air India flight, there was one poly bag placed on each seat, and inside that poly bag there were food items. There were 2 chips, a packet, 2 water bottles, and one sandwich and one roll. So this was all that was available to us during the 15-hour duration, which we can eat and drink water from. And I will highly recommend everybody that they carry their own food. Cabin crew was not serving the passengers, and they have mentioned it on the website as well due to this COVID situation. And after 15 hours, the flight landed in the Sydney at the Sydney airport. The whole process of after landing at Sydney airport was as usual, like it used to be before. But one additional step, they make you meet one professional. They check your temperature. They ask you a few questions if you have any symptoms or something, and they do provide you with the enough information how the next 14 days are going to be. They do tell you about the hotel quarantine rules and everything. They do tell you about the helpline numbers that you can contact in case you have any issues. Once you're done with that, once you're done with the regular immigration process at the Sydney airport, the police officials and the airport officials guide you to the buses. You enter the buses. The police officers are very helpful. I have seen them, police officers, actually carrying the baggages of elderly people and for the women as well. And they keep it in the buses, and then they guide you till the hotel as well. While you travel in the buses, I must mention here that while you travel in the buses, they make you sit one person in one row, so they do take care social distancing very seriously. and you cannot really actually meet other passengers on your way out of the airport, or passengers of another airline, because there are actually very few people at the airport in these days, and there are airport authorities and there are police officers, so you don't really get to go anywhere you feel like. You actually have to pretty much go in one track only. So at the hotel check-in, the hotel staff is very cordial, and they do assist you with the check-in. They do call you one by one while maintaining the social distance, and they ask you for your passport, the boarding pass, and one photo ID, Australian photo ID. And they also ask you if you have any dietary conditions or requirements, whatever you want to mention over there. So I particularly requested that I really don't eat seafood, so I requested them to give me food which does not contain seafood. So whenever they send me food lunch package, it clearly says no seafood, so they have pretty much taken care of that. And if somebody is vegetarian, they can mention that I only need vegetarian food. If somebody is diabetic, they can request food accordingly. So at my hotel accommodation, they have provided me with the hotel accommodation for the 14 days, and they are also going to provide me with the food 3 times a day. They have provided with the electronic kettle, coffee when I can drink whenever I want to, and all this is completely free of cost. It is completely free of cost to citizens and permanent residents. About temporary residents, I am not really sure whether it is free or paid. I believe the best is, if anybody wants to travel to Australia, they should contact the Australia High Commission and get to know about this thing, whether it is free for everybody or only for citizens and permanent residents. And for permanent residents and citizens, the food, 3 time a day food, and the hotel accommodation is completely free of cost so far till date. And also I must mention, if you want to order food from outside, you can always order food from outside. You can do Uber Eats, and if any of your relative or your friend wants to drop in something, they can pretty much they call it care package. They can drop it at the hotel reception. Hotel reception will drop it outside this door, and they will knock the door, and you can collect it from there. And you can always order some alcohol drinks or something from the hotel. It is paid. You can order some extra snacks from the hotel as well. That is paid as well, and you have to pay for that. Other than that, the accommodation and everything is pretty comfortable, and I'm quite satisfied with the facilities that they have provided. I've seen how the quarantine facilities are in India, and comparing quarantine facilities with India, I must say Australian government is really doing way beyond their limits. They are actually helping us a lot. So let me tell you about my experience with the whole journey. I'm pretty happy with the services I'm being provided, and that too at no cost at all, right? They have provided me with the food, 3 times food. They have provided with me with a very luxurious room to stay in, and they do keep and check on me. They do call me every day, asking about the symptoms and everything. And if I need anything, they are there to help me around. And even if we talk about the arrangements at the Sydney airport, arrangements at the Delhi airport, everything was arranged nicely. People were maintaining social distance, and there were marks wherever the queue is supposed to be lined up. And at the end, I would say I cannot thank Australia government enough, and really I'm very happy with the all the accommodation and services being provided by the Australia government. Also, please do feel free to comment whatever questions you have. Do comment on the video link below. If you have any other questions, probably I'll make another video. If not, so I guess this video is long enough, but pretty much covers everything. Thank you so much.